mayo. You might hate it, you might love it, you might be somewhere in between, but you cannot deny its versatility. Today I'm gonna show you that mayo can be put in places you didn't even know it could go. I'm talking about a delicate crepe, a juicy pork, and a decadent chocolate cake. Yeah, with mayo in it. Today's the day we realize that mayo is so much more than just a condiment that sits on the shelf. It's a secret ingredient. It's a superhero. Mayo to the rescue. Let's do this. Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals. So this morning, we are gonna use mayonnaise as our secret ingredient in the ultra-thin and super delicious French pancake known as the crepe. By putting mayo in there, I know we're gonna offend a lot of Parisians, but we're gonna save money on oil, we're gonna save time by not having to melt butter, and we get to use fewer eggs. All right, so let's make this batter. Here we go. Let's start with the wets. We've got 2 eggs. Let's get our star ingredient, the mayonnaise. You know, when you're making a thin pancake, it's really easy for it to dry out. But now that we have mayonnaise in there, it's going to ensure moisture no matter how thin we make this thing. And it's a pre-seasoned 90% oil, 10% egg, amazing moisturizing flavor bomb. It's so good. And if you have a huge collection of mayonnaise packets in your packet drawer, this is a free ingredient. Coming in with milk. Oh, yes. The civilized whisk. And finally, flour. And just sort of add it in little bits here. You don't have to be too fussy about it. Nice. It's important to let this sit in the fridge for a little while so that it can become fully hydrated and so that the gluten can relax. Relax, gluten, relax. Ha-ha, nap time is over. It's time to make some crepes. This pan needs to be greased up real good. Go to your packet drawer, get a thing of butter. Yep, you can see we've got quite a hot pan. So I've got this little technique where I pour and twirl, all right? True fact about crepes, the first crepe is always the weakest one, just because you gotta see what's going on with your batter and how hot the pan is. So do not get discouraged if it doesn't go well. Whoop. Nice. Okay, the first one. It's looking a little too American pancake to me, but the next one's gonna be better. Use half a little thing of butter this time. I thought we had a little too much the first time. That's one of those things that you can only determine after making the first crepe. Mix, 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 mix. And now we're gonna pour and twist. I'm just looking for dryness on the top part of our uncooked batter. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can come in with the spatula and free it up, or you could just give it the little Scandinavian shake. Just kind of up, and it frees itself right up. So now if you think of this as a ski jump, like this, if we go up, it's not gonna flip. But if we go forward and down like that, it's super fun. Really, just 20 seconds on the second side. And now we can stack these. Let's do another one. All right, we're coming in a circle like this. If you don't wanna do the pan flip, you get a rubber spatula and you just come all the way around. And then put the spatula under halfway. And this one's looking pretty good. Let's do another one. We pour, we twist. And there we are. So that is a bunch of struggle crepes. Crepes don't stop here. They get delicious fillings, sweet or savory. Today I'm going savory. So we take a piece of ham, we take another piece of ham, cheese, and a little bit of Dijon mustard. Now we give it a little comb over, just up and over like that. I'm gonna throw the crepe in with the cheese side down just so it gets the heat a little bit faster. That's gonna make it a little easier to flip over. Let's take another crepe. So we can go like this and like this. Now, this guy is ready for a little flip. Very nice. Gonna show you the fold. This comes out and then just come over top like that. We're coming in with our second crepe. You know, because of mayo's viscosity and ultimate moisturizing capability, it's just locking moisture into this crepe. If it were a ton of milk, it would evaporate out, right? This stays in. So we've got our melty cheese, our savory ham, an incredibly moist yet delicate batter. But we're really only missing one thing, a salad. So, got an easy little salad here. Our plate with 2 crepes and a side salad costs $1.76. I think the French would be very proud, but why is it so moist? How do Americans do this? And of course the answer is with the magical powers of mayo. You can see that it's structurally holding it together, nothing's leaking. It's incredibly savory. It's sweet and smoky from the ham. It's ooey and gooey from the cheese. And the crepe, our super delicate, thin, yet incredibly moist wrapper, completes this entire package. Mayo's more than just a one-trick pony, so stay tuned for some more magical mayo mayhem. Homemade mayo is really, really delicious, and it's super easy to make. I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's egg yolks with a little bit of mustard, a little bit of vinegar, and a whole lot of oil. The hard part is getting it to emulsify, but it's not hard if you know the little secret, which is that an immersion blender with a narrow container and then adding the oil slowly makes the perfect vortex to emulsify this to a thick and delicious awesomeness. I mean, this is creamy, yellow, thick, gorgeousness. It's so thick it won't even fall into my mouth. So now I've got my own homemade mayo and it is fresh and delicious. We can use it in the same ways that we'd use a store-bought mayo. So I hope you give this a shot at home. It really is fantastic. Are you ready to make some crispy pork and Brussels sprouts? Because I am. And yeah, you guessed it, mayo's gonna make a surprise and secret appearance in both dishes. So let's start with the Brussels sprouts. So I just go through them the long way, and that's it. I leave all these skins on, some of them fall off and get crispy, and that's great. All right, we are going to take mayonnaise and put it into the Brussels sprouts. So what's the logic here? The logic is that we're adding fat, which is flavor, and we're adding an awful lot of oil. So essentially anything oil can do, mayo can do. Here we've got some garlic. Let's sprinkle this in. Let's hit it with salt. Let's hit it with some pepper. And we'll mix this about. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to mix it about. I just became Mary Poppins and I don't know why. Just a spoonful of mayo helps the Brussels sprouts go down. Right onto our sheet tray. All right, so look, you can really see how well the mayo is sticking to each of these Brussels sprouts. And into the oven they go. All right, let's make our breading. So we've got panko. It's a Japanese bread flake. Yeah. Here is some thyme, a little bit of Parmesan from the block. I'm just gonna mix this around a little bit, and that is that. These are thin cut, boneless pork chops, but we're gonna pound them even thinner. So here's some plastic, and we will take a pork chop, put some plastic over top, like this. This is really just a hygiene situation. If you've got a meat pounder, that's great. But a cast iron pan also works well because it's flat and it's heavy. So you can hit it a couple times there. Why pound the meat? Well, any inconsistencies in the thickness from one end to the other will be completely eliminated. That ensures consistent cooking throughout. That's good. The other thing that's great about having it thin is that it cooks really fast, and by the time the pork is cooked, the breading hasn't burnt. All right, so do you see the difference? We've got a nice thin 1/4 inch. That's great. Let's do a second one. Okay, let's get some salt. Let's get some pepper. We've got powder of garlic. Let's flip it over and do it on the other side as well. Now, we've got our pork chops. We've got our breading. What am I missing? The egg mixture? No, I'm not missing it because we're gonna use mayo. We take some mayo and we slam it right onto the chop like this. And now we will rub in the sunblock. So we go like this here. So the mayo is gonna make a really, really great glue for our breadcrumb, right? You see how it's staying on here and it's not dripping off like egg? And as this cooks, the mayo is gonna kind of lock in moisture. It's a little bit of a barrier. So breadcrumbs and cheese, just give it a little flip flop like this. Yeah, look at how nicely it sticks. And look at this station here, very clean. All right, we got some hot oils. We come with our chop of pork. Yes, here are my cutlets. It's a shallow fry. This is what's gonna give us that golden doneness all the way through. This is what's gonna cook the pork so that it's juicy and delicious. And thanks to the mayo, even more moisture is gonna stay in the inside. All right, how does that look? Yeah, gorgeous. Oh, listen to that. I think we're good here. And so now we just pull this out. We're gonna let our pork rest for a second. Let's check on those Brussels. These are golden and caramelized. They look absolutely beautiful. You can see that a really even cooking has happened. Call this Mount Bruxelles, okay? And we're gonna try to get height on Mount Bruxelles, yeah? And then we will take the schnitzel and we will lean it upon, I love it. It's so three-dimensional. I think a little pop of freshness here would do us good. To the herb garden. You know, not only is this a great way to get bright flavors when you need them, it's also a great way to save money because you pay for these once and they keep growing. We put some parsley right on top. So here we have a delicious plate of pork chops and Brussels sprouts with mayo being the secret ingredient. What does that equal? It equals more flavor, more juiciness for less money. Mayonnaise, it's more versatile than you ever knew. All of this glorious food can be had for $2.78 a serving. That's awesome. But how does it taste? Now we find out. I love it. You can see this gorgeous, even doneness of our breadcrumbs, and the mayo is proving to be a fantastic glue because it's all staying stuck on there. The pork is so juicy and the breading is so crispy. The Brussels sprouts are tender on the inside and crispy on the outside. It's all due to mayo. Like the idea was, let's use mayo to save money, but truthfully, the stuff's cooking better in mayonnaise. So not only is it a secret ingredient, it's a secret weapon. It's time for a struggle challenge. So let's see what you guys got for me today. Danielle says, I really dislike the taste of mayo, but I also know it's very, very versatile. So I'm trying to find ways to use it where I don't get the actual taste of mayo in my mouth. I understand your grievance. I feel like we've been doing a lot of that today, but let's see if we can also achieve what you're looking for with the struggle fridge. Okay, big block of cheese. Jamon. Pickles, poppy peppers, butter, onion, tomato, mayo, bread, and more pickles. My favorite, a brand name pickles. Okay, she knows mayo is very versatile, but she doesn't want to taste the mayo in her mouth. So how do we get mayo into a dish where you don't taste the mayo? All right. We're gonna make a grilled cheese sandwich. So we need bread, we need cheese, we're gonna put ham in there. I actually like the flavor of a tomato that's like sliced kind of hot. And why don't we put pickles in spear form on the side? So often a great sandwich starts with butter spread all over bread. But butter can often be hard because it comes from the fridge, and then it isn't spreadable. And then you decide not to use the butter at all, and what happens? Your bread isn't as good as it could be if you'd spread the butter on there. How do we expedite the softening of butter? By using mayo as the butter substitute, because mayo is always spreadable. Mayo! I better get started. Cast iron pan. Ugh, the joys of modern society. Instant fire. Okay, this is gonna be a big sandwich. Here we go. Holy smokes, is it gonna be big. Beautiful. No one will know. Okay, mayonnaise, our star ingredient. It's gonna show yet another superpower. Very nice. And now we will put these face down into the pan and mayo the other side. Look at how easy that spreads. All right, let's slice the tomato real quick. Gorgeous. So here's what we'll do, because the outside's gonna get extra crispy, right? Now we've got this inside nice and warmed. We will throw tomato down. We will throw ham down and box grater. Much better to buy in block form than have the pre-grated stuff. I promise you that. Okay, so there goes the cheese, just like that. Now we will put the hat on top, okay? Here's a fun trick. Listen, we can do a whole bunch of things here to press down on this. We can press down on this with a spatula in our hand. We can keep flipping it. We can take another cast iron if we've got it, heat it up, and then just slam that on top. Oh, yeah. Glorious. Okay. Out onto a board there. Listen to how crispy the mayo made our bread. Look at that. Melty, golden deliciousness. A brand name pickles. One pickle. Let's talk about how this looks. At the end of the day, I want a golden brown, crispy, and slightly greasy grilled cheese sandwich. This hits all of that. But, like, the tomato is pretty liquidious, and so it's sort of seeping out the sides. That's gonna take a point away. Plus, we always like to strive for more. 9 on looks. I'm gonna take a bite now. Oh, yep. Woo! I mean, that's a 10. That is a glorious, crispy, ooey gooey grilled cheese sandwich with all the elements that I want to hit my pleasure centers of the brain. Danielle, you said you wanted mayo without tasting mayo? Here it is. I present it to you. That's a 19 total. That's a 95%. That is a solid A, my friends. Once again, mayo shows us that it can be a secret ingredient. Thank you for this struggle challenge. I'm gonna take another bite now. It's time for a dessert. I'm gonna make a chocolate cake with our secret weapon, which is mayo. It's got all the ingredients that are normally in a chocolate cake. This makes it even more decadent. All right, so we're gonna start with some instant espresso powder here, and this is really gonna accentuate the flavors of chocolate that we get in there. You could also use a cup of coffee or espresso, whatever you got. Let's get some chocolate in our bowl here. We've got cocoa powder, great. And now let's take our hot coffee in whatever form we have and let the chocolate melt here. Mix it around. That's gorgeous. Okay, let's move on to our dry ingredients. Baking powder, salt, and baking soda. 1, 2, 3. Flour time. Very nice. All right, let's make sure we get all the powders that are in the bottom. Now that the coffee has melted our chocolate, it's time to add the secret ingredient, mayonnaise. It gives that je ne sais quoi. You'd never know it's there. It's just gonna add this extra little hoof. And sugar, let's mix this up, struggle whisk. All right, mayo and chocolate coming together. Oh, that's so gorgeous. I love it. Just angling the bowl a little bit to make sure that I get all the sugar incorporated into that. Let's get a little bit of vanilla extract in there. 1 egg. So we got 1 egg, we got our vanilla. Let's break that yolk up. So in addition to adding decadence to this dish, the mayo is reducing the amount of eggs that we need to break into our mixture and also eliminating any oil at all from being in the mixture. 2 birds with 1 mayo. The dry, let's mix this in now. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's take the rest of our chocolate chips. These haven't been melted, so they're gonna have a little more texture. Very good. I've got a 9x9 pan here. I got a little bit of parchment in there. It's greased up real good. All right, this is gonna go in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. While my cake cools, I'm just gonna make a quick whipped cream. We take our cream and we put it in a bowl, and then we whip it by hand. Got some powdered sugar here. It's going in. It's starting to happen! All right, look at that. We're good. Okay, here we go. Very nice. We will now cut the cake. Little secret reveal here for the people at home. I'm gonna take an end piece. We've got our gorgeous, moist chocolate mayo cake. Let's get a dollop of our whipped cream right on top, like that. And now I will adorn the top of our cake with a crown of raspberries. Look at the fossil record in here. That's a whole piece of chocolate. That's a whole piece of chocolate. But where's the mayo? Ha-ha! Our chocolate mayo cake comes out to 84 cents a serving. Mayo is the secret ingredient. It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. But it is what makes this thing absolutely delicious. How delicious? Let me tell you. Woo! So we've got a super luxurious and rich chocolate cake here. It's hard to believe it, but mayo is in this dish. And at the end of the day, it's delicious. And it shows the versatility of mayo. It's so much more than just a condiment, friends. Mayo, it was the star of our show today. It created moisture, crispiness, and decadence in dishes you'd never know that it would play a role in. And yet it adds a little something that takes it up a notch. Which makes me wonder, why do they sell this stuff in a jar? It should have a cape on it. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I answer your questions. Bree asks, is there a difference between standard mayo and Japanese mayo? That's a great question. And yeah, there is a difference. Your standard mayo is egg yolks emulsified with oil, sometimes a little bit of mustard. It's pretty plain, it's classic. The Japanese mayo's got a little bit of a zing. It's those ingredients with apple or rice wine vinegar included into it. And sometimes they add a little MSG for added zip. Now, I know what you might be thinking about MSG, but it's been scientifically disproven to cause headaches. Plus, it naturally occurs in things like Parmesan cheese and steak. I love those things. They don't give me headaches.